So this is the one that lets you search for if you have an account that's been compromised in a data breach, like Adobe or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
And clearly, because I do security things, I've been really conscious about making sure I do my security things as well as possible. Now, I also run on Azure websites because they are awesome for all the sorts of reasons we can talk about in other courses.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I do have a 100 here on Key Exchange. So I've made it just a little bit stronger. And you can see down the bottom it says, this server supports HTTP Strict Transport Security, which we also know as HSTS. Now, you don't support that, and it's a really easy thing to fix. But I want to show you what it does, because this is kind of the interesting thing about it. So if I grab a new tab, and I'm going to F12 into the developer tools, we're on the network tab already, and I'm going to go to my Have I Been Pwned website. Now, here's what we're going to see. I'm going to scroll up to the top of these network requests. So we can see this first request here has a 307 internal, if I scroll it over a little bit, internal redirect status. So what has happened is when I've previously gone to this website has set an HSTS header.
Yes.
All right, so HTTP Strict Transport Security. And what the HSTS header says is this website must be requested over HTTPS.
Right.
And if the browser is requested or asked to make a request to site over HTTP, translate it to HTTPS. So what you're seeing here is the browser's implementation of HSTS saying, I'm not going to make an HTTP request, I'm going to convert it to a secure request.
Where Sugar Learning actually made the HTTP request and then the server redirected it.
Correct. Now we can see that the second request here is actually 301, and the reason it's a 301 is it's requested www, Have I Been Pwned, and I've got a URL rewrite rule in there which says the canonical URL is Have I Been Pwned. So it's effectively said, look, you know, we really want you to go to the non-www. If we have a look at that third request and we have a look at the response headers and scroll down a little bit, we'll see that HSTS header. So we can see strict transport security, and we can see a max age in there. So what it's saying is for the next, what's that, like 3 million something seconds, it's basically for the next year, any request made to this site has to go over HTTPS. Because the problem is, like, let's take a hypothetical bank, because banks are always sort of the bastions of security. Right?
Troy Bank.
Troy Bank. So what you'd want to do on your bank is, if you make an HTTP request, that request is at risk of a man-in-the-middle attack.
Yes.
So if you could get in the middle of that communication, even if it does what Sugar Learning does, and then says, oh, but I'm going to 301 you to HTTPS, that original request can still be intercepted.
Can still be, yeah, right.
And someone can get in the middle and do something like SSL strip, where they go, I'm going to get that response, but then I'm going to return HTTP. And then you're going to make an HTTP request to me, but I'll make an HTTPS request to the bank. And they can get in the middle and sort of proxy backwards and forwards. So HSTS, it's a really simple little thing. And
sounds important now.
Ups the grade a little bit. Well, look, it's, I mean,
if you're in that space where you feel you may be at risk or have something that you don't want exposed, I guess.
It's a, you've still got the initial risk. So you can only set an HSTS header on an HTTPS request. So the very first time you ever go to, say, my website here, you've still got to be able to make an HTTPS request, unless you explicitly put in the scheme.
Right.
And then you get the response here, and then you're good for a year.
Yep. Yep.
So there's that little window of opportunity, but now, instead of every time you come back to the website...
I was about to say, it's once in a, God knows how many.
Correct. So we improved things a little bit there. So that's a good one, HSTS. Now, the next one, which is kind of interesting, and this is... A lot of the things we're going to look at on your website, it'll be like, here's what you've actually done well, and why it is a good thing.
And it'll all be well, of course.
Not so much. We'll get to that.